Oh, I guess an opening would be nice. No, isn't the share that I wanted to stop. It was the recording that I wanted to stop. Okay, solving word problems using algebra part 2. After this lesson, you should be able to define a variable, write an equation that uses that variable, solve the equation to find the answer, and then write your answer with units. If you can do that, you can solve any word problem. Let's give it a try. All right, the area of a rectangle is 224 square inches. The width of the rectangle is 14 inches. What is the length of the rectangle? So what you need to do this problem is you need the formula. When we're dealing with shapes like rectangles, squares, circles, it's always good to have the formula. So hopefully you remember that the area of a rectangle is equal to the length times the width, right? And here's a rectangle. So we'll make this be the length, and we'll make this be the width on this side, like that. Okay. The area is 224 square inches. I'm going to put that right on top of my shape. Square inches, because area is always made up of squares. The width of the rectangle is 14 inches. So I'm going to erase W, and I'm going to fill in 14 inches. What is the length of the rectangle? So the beauty of this is that the formula is going to tell us what math we need to do. If the area is 224 square inches, we can substitute 224 for A. So we take the A out and we replace it with 224 because they're the same thing. The length is what they're asking us for. They said, what is the length of the rectangle? Which means I'm going to make that my variable. L is the length of the rectangle. So I'm going to leave L in my formula as an L because I don't know what that is. And we're just going to use a variable when we don't know what things are. And W, I know that W is 14. So let's put a 14 where W goes. And there's the equation. So anytime you're doing a word problem that talks about a geometric shape, you're always going to start with the formula for that shape. If they're talking about the area of a rectangle, start with the formula for the area of a rectangle. If they're talking about the circumference of a circle, start with the formula for the circumference of a circle. You're going to substitute in numbers for the values that you know, and then you're going to use your algebra skills to solve for what you don't know. So let me put my line through the equal sign here, keep everything lined up. I've got L times 14. Usually we would write 14L, but L times 14 is the same either way. I want to cancel that 14, so I'm going to divide both sides by 14. 14 divided by 14 is 1, and I get L is equal to, going to use a calculator. You are welcome to use calculators. 16. All right. I wrote a variable to represent the thing I don't know, the thing they're asking me to find. I created an equation using that variable. I solved my equation to get an answer. So now my only step left to go is to write that answer with units. L equals 16. Well, 16 what? It's the length of the rectangle. So length could be inches or feet or centimeters. So I'm going to look in the problem, what units are they using? Inches, square inches, and inches. Well, length isn't going to be square inches because only area is square inches. So my units are just going to be inches. Length is always just inches. All right, how'd you do? Let's try another one. Ben has a rope that is 12 feet long. He cuts the rope into pieces that are 1.6 feet long. How many pieces will he have? All right. So Ben has a rope that's 12 feet long. I might just draw a picture of rope. Yep, there's my rope. And he's cutting it up. So this first piece is 1.6 feet. And then this second piece is 1.6 feet. And then this third piece is 1.6 feet. So I'm cutting this rope into pieces. Okay, so my picture kind of gives me an idea, and we're going to keep doing this until we run out of rope. I want to know how many pieces he's going to have. So I'm going to need a variable, and the variable is always the answer to what they're asking for. They're asking, how many pieces will he have? Aha. My variable, I'm going to use P, is going to be equal to the number of pieces he will have. Yeah. So what's happening here? Cutting a rope into pieces, if all those pieces are the same size, is dividing the rope up. Agreed? This rope is being divided into pieces, cut into pieces. So I am going to take what's being divided, the whole thing, that's 12. I'm going to divide it by the number of pieces, which is P, and I know that answer is going to be equal to 1.6, right? So I have the whole thing divided into pieces, and each piece is going to be 1.6 feet. Okay, so now I'm going to break out the algebra. I got my equation. I can solve for my variable. For this one, the easiest way to solve it is going to be to turn to our good friend cross multiplication. We have a fraction equal to a number. If I put that number over 1, then I have a fraction equal to a fraction. And that means I can cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply P times 1.6, 1.6P, and I'm going to set that equal to multiplying on the other diagonal, 12 times 1, which is going to give me 12. All right, so 1.6P is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 1.6, right? Trying to get the variable by itself. The variable is being multiplied. The inverse of multiplying is dividing. 1.6 divided by 1.6 is 1. They cancel out. And I get P is equal to 12 divided by 1.6. And that is 7.5. So we are going to get 7.5. And then look back. What is it? Oh, pieces of rope. So 7.5 pieces of rope. So he'll really only have 7 pieces that are size 1.6. But they just asked how many pieces he'll have. So I'm going to stick with 7.5. But if they asked how many pieces would he have that are 1.6 feet long, I would say just 7, right? The last piece is only going to be, he's not going to have enough to get a full 1.6 foot length in there. All right, let's try another one. You go to Staples and you buy a pack of pencils for $1.25, an eraser for 45 cents, and 2 packs of gum. You're going to spend $4.40 at Staples. How much did each pack of gum cost? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is define a variable. They're asking us, how much did each pack of gum cost? So that's going to be our variable. Maybe I'll use G is equal to the cost of 1 pack of gum. Don't say G equals gum. That's not specific enough. That could be the weight of the gum, the dimensions of the box of the gum. It could be how many packs of gum, right? So you want to be really specific. If they asked how much did each pack cost, you're going to say G is the cost of each pack of gum. Okay. Now I want to write an equation. And this is a spending money equation. So I'm going to break out my good friend, the sentence equation. So I'm going to spend some money on pencils. And I'm going to spend some money on an eraser. And I'm going to spend some money to buy gum. And then all together, I'm going to have a total amount of money. When you're writing an equation, every single term has to have the same units. Money plus money plus money equals money. So you can't have the number of pencils plus money equals money. They all have to have the same units. So the amount of money I spent on pencils, that's right here in the equation. So I spent $1.25. I guess it's you. You spent $1.25. So let's put $1.25 for the money for pencils. Okay, and I spent some money on eraser, and that's also in my problem. So right here it says that I spent 45 cents on an eraser. So I'm going to put that. Instead of money for eraser, I'm going to put 45 cents. All right. And then I spent some money on gum. They didn't tell me how much money I spent on gum. Do you guys see that? This is all the information I have on gum that I bought 2 packs of it, right? So I bought 2 packs of gum. Do I know how much each pack cost? Yes, I do. It cost G. As soon as you have a variable, you can use that anytime you need that quantity, right? So I bought 2 packs of gum. They both cost G dollars. So I could say gum is, it's going to be G plus G, right? So I paid G dollars for the first pack of gum. I paid G dollars for the second pack of gum. Or you could write 2 groups of G, or 2 times G is going to give me how much money I spent on gum. And that's equal to the total amount of money. And the total amount of money, they don't say total all together. They just said you spent. So you have to interpret that for yourself. That you spent $4.40 means altogether you spent $4.40. So I'm going to put $4.40 for the total. Oh, what a pretty equation. Okay. Define a variable. We did that. Write an equation using that variable. We did that. It is time to solve our equation. All right. I'm going to drop that line through my equal sign. Keep everything tidy. And I'm going to circle my terms on this one, because I got a lot of terms. All right. So I have 3 terms on the left side, 1 term on the right. I do have like terms. $1.25 and 45 cents, those are like terms. So I can add those together. $1.25 plus 45 gives me 1.7. So 1.7, I'll make it look like money since it is money. $1.70 was the total for the eraser and the pencils, plus 2G is equal to $4.40. All right, now on the side with the variable, I've got 2 terms. We're going to keep the term that has the variable. I'm trying to isolate that. I'm going to eliminate $1.70 by adding the opposite, negative $1.70. So 1.070 plus negative 1.70, those eliminate each other. And I get 2G is equal to 4.40 minus 1.70. If you're doing it by hand, please make sure you line up those decimals. And we get 2.70. All right, trying to get G by itself. G is being multiplied by 2. The inverse of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2 on both sides. 2's cancel. And G is equal to 1.35. All right, solved the equation, got an answer. Don't forget the last step, you need units. So I'm going to write That's the cost of a pack of gum, so that's got to be dollars. So it is $1.35 for a pack of gum. Very nice. All right, let's do one more. Rectangle again, our good friend the rectangle. Now they're telling us the perimeter. A rectangle has a perimeter of 35 centimeters. The width is 4.5 centimeters. What is the length? So I'm going to put my dimensions back on here. We're still talking length and width. So there's the length. There's the width of our rectangle. But now they're telling me the perimeter. A rectangle has a perimeter of 35 centimeters. I'm going to dust off my good friend the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, which is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. If you have forgotten your formulas, they are in the back of your book. So go ahead and go to the back of your book. There's a really nice page of formulas back there for you in case you forgot them. Some people do. All right. So now I need to substitute. I've got way too many variables. I can't solve for 3 variables. I can only solve for 1. But this P is the perimeter, and I know what the perimeter is. Perimeter is 35 centimeters. So I am going to write 35 in place of P. 2 times the length. Do I know what the length is? No, I do not. They're asking me what is the length, which means I'm going to need a variable for that. So let's make L equal to the length of the rectangle. Yeah. So when it says 2 times L, I'm going to leave it as an L. I'm not going to replace that with a number because I don't know what number that is. Plus 2 times W. So that's the width. And they did tell us the width. Right here it says the width is 4.5 centimeters. So I might put that on my drawing as well. So let's erase W. And instead we will write 3. Oops, it's not a 3. We will write 4.5 centimeters. I hope everybody knows the perimeter is the distance around the outside, right? But I'm going to write it right in the middle. Perimeter is equal to 35 centimeters. And notice it's centimeters, not centimeters squared, because I'm not filling this in at all. I'm just going around the outside. So instead of W, I'm going to substitute in 4.5. And there you go. An equation with just one variable. Perfect. Let us solve it. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to circle my terms. I want to see what my terms are here. 35 is a term. 2 times L is a term. And 2 times 4.5 is a term. So the next thing I'm going to do is simplify my terms. 35 is simplified. 2L is simplified. 2 times 4.5 is 9. So I'm going to simplify that to a 9. All right, please do not look at the side of the equation that does not have the variable. We don't care what's happening over here. Don't look over there. What we need to know is how to get L by itself. To get L by itself, I'd like to get rid of these 9 positive ones over here. In order to get rid of a positive 9, I can add a negative 9. I'm just going to add the opposite to both sides. Positive 9 plus negative 9, they eliminate each other. And I get 2L is equal to, well, let's see, 35 minus 10 would be 25, but it's 1 less than 10, so 26. All right, so 26 is equal to 2L. 2 is multiplied times L. The inverse of multiplying is dividing. 2's cancel. And I get L is equal to, whoa, I did not divide on the other side. What? For shame. That'll make it into the quiz. So I have to divide both sides by 2, both sides. 26 divided by 2, that is 13. So there's my answer. L equals 13, but 13 what? I want to write it with units. Well, my variable says it's the length of the rectangle. So it's going to be inches or feet or miles. But here I can see that all of my units are in centimeters. So length is going to be 13 centimeters. And that's my answer. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.